build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Delony, #1 best-selling author, PhD in counseling, Ramsey personality, host of one of the most popular shows on the Ramsey Network these days, the Dr. John Delony Show. He's here to help. And so if you want to talk about relationships, you're crazy in your family, he's here to help with that. We'll talk about your life. In general, what we do around here is we talk about you right in front of you, and we get paid for it. So thanks for hanging out. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ronald is with us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Ronald, what's up in your world?
Nothing too much. How are you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
So I have a kind of a strange situation. My sister called me this morning, and she was crying, and I told me that she had her car repossessed. She didn't pay for her car for about 4 to 5 months, and she wants me to help get the car out of the impound and pay the full amount of her car payment to get it out of repossession.
Turn right on Kenwood Avenue. What's going on in her life that allows the car to get repossessed?
I think just bad money choices. She only makes $500 a week, and I'm pretty sure she bought the car for $16,000, way over her income, and she's been drowning in the debt.
She's single, I guess.
No, she has a boyfriend, so I wanted to tell you that as well. So she has $1,000. Her boyfriend has offered $2,500 to put towards the car, and the balance is $8,000 after like repossession fees, and she wants me to take care of the rest.
I don't care what she.
Well, my rule on helping people is that I have to back up a minute from all the emotions and my heart, because my heart wants to help her right now. She didn't call and demand, she asked, and she was crying and she's scared, and her brother wants to help her, and I think that's all good. There's nothing wrong with her requesting this, and nothing wrong with you hearing her heart on it. So my heart wants to help her right this second. I may not in a few minutes, but right now I do. And so then I have to step back from my heart and use wisdom, which says, I want to do something here that is a help that when 5 years from today we look back, not 5 minutes, that it actually helped her. Okay? And so, number one, I assume you've got some money.
Yeah, I have a good reservoir going for me.
Okay. And are you married?
I'm engaged.
Okay. What would your fiance say if you helped your sister?
Not too happy about it.
Why?
Because I've helped her in the past.
Oh.
I've spent.
So there's a pattern.
Yeah.
That is that the help wasn't help. Instead, it became dependence.
Exactly.
Which John would call you codependent at that point. An enabler. I think John would say that. I think that's what psychologists call it. So, so that's a bad clue. When your wife, or in this case your fiance, says you're not being wise, then that's something you need to listen to. Assuming assuming she's just not mad at your sister for some other reason. Yeah. But so the money you gave her before didn't help.
Yeah.
It was you participating in her crazy world.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want to do again.
Mm-hmm. So I have one question. So at first I was thinking about, helping her, pay the whole entire thing off, and then her immediately selling the vehicle, and then paying back everybody that she owes, and hopefully has a little bit of money left behind so she can have a reservoir.
She's not.
And then I went on to offer to sell the vehicle, and then she could drive my truck for however long that she needs it until she saves up her money.
No, I wouldn't do that. We need to create something that's what we call sustainable at the end of the story. When we finish helping her, she can operate without more help. Okay?
Mhm.
So what that probably sounds like is she sells the car, buys a $2,000 car, and pays off all of her debts and goes into Financial Peace University that you pay for, or I'll give it to her through you. And if in order for you to help her, she has to promise to do two things that help her.
Mhm.
One is she needs to go through this class and freaking learn how to handle money. Two, so that this doesn't happen again. Two, she needs to sell the car and get a car she can actually afford. Oh, I'll add one.
Mhm.
Three, she needs to work on her freaking career. She's broke. She's living at the poverty level.
Yeah.
She doesn't work much. Or
Yeah.
if she does, she's got the worst job on the planet.
Yeah, that's what I told her, that she needs to find another job. So,
Yep.
You know,
So if you
Higher
give her
paying.
3 or 4 things like that to do, what's she going to say?
I'm not sure, honestly.
You know, she's been your sister a long time.
Junior, I will. Oh man, that's a hard question.
I'm guessing by your hesitancy, you know that you're going to put some things in front of her, and you probably have most of y'all's life together. And they're pretty low barriers to entry, and they include a lot of support from her brother. And she doesn't make the choice to do those things. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
I'm with your fiance then.
Yeah.
I think this one she figures out on her own, brother. For
Okay.
her good. Dave, that's tough love. No, darling, that's love. When you participate in crazy people stuff, that's not love. That's just weakness. When people are doing stupid butt stuff and you help them, how are you helping them? You know, that's not, I'm not fussing at you, Ronald, but people do this all the time. I do it. I have to catch myself.
It's like going into the gym and taking the weight off the bar to help somebody lift, and then they get put in a situation where they need that strength, and you've robbed them from it. And like Ronald, I mean, the world needs more compassionate people who will sit next to somebody who's hurting and say, "I've got a path for you, but you've got to meet me on this path," and love this person enough to allow them to meet you. And
Hey,
she's not able to meet you right now.
That's good. You know, let's make this even harder, just for the fun of it. Let me tell you what happens, Ronald, when you get a car repossessed. You feel like someone stole something from you. It is a weird emotion. I've been foreclosed on when I went broke. I know what it feels like. It's a weird emotion to look up and your car is not in your driveway. You think it got stolen, and instead it was just repossessed. Let her sit in that. Tell her, no, you won't help her buy this car out, but you'll buy her $1,000 car. You'll give that to her if she'll go through FPU.
I love that.
And then she's not going to do either one. Because she wants her life back, her unreasonable life back. And when you don't help her with that, she's going to react poorly, and you're going to know what's going on.
And if you buy her that $1,000 car, you have to say, "This is it." And you have to hold to that.
Done.
Hold to it.
Finet. Over. No mo. Money. That's it. You're going to go through class and learn how to handle it so you don't need me anymore. And you need to go get a better job so you don't freaking starve to death. This is how we talk to people we love. This is the Ramsey Show.
Here's the hard truth. Your investment dollars could be winding up in the pockets of companies that hold positions that you don't agree with. Yes, that's right. People are unknowingly putting money into big tech giants and household brand names that don't match up with their core values. But there's good news. Timothy Plan is at the forefront of biblically responsible investing. That means Timothy Plan uses a strategy that lets investors chase competitive returns while staying rock solid in their beliefs. So if you're ready to invest with a clean conscience, it's time to check out Timothy Plan. Contact your financial advisor today to see if Timothy Plan is right for you. Visit timothyplan.com for more information. timothyplan.com.
Investing includes risk, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus or summary prospectus, if available, at timothyplan.com. Read carefully before investing. Mutual funds distributed by Timothy Partners, Ltd., and ETFs distributed by Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Sam is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, Sam, what's up?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sure. How can I help?
So I'm an independent financial advisor, and I use your investing strategy in a lot of accounts that I have for clients. I love it. I've definitely seen strong performance with it. And so one question I sometimes come across is, within clients' 401k plans that they have, their investment options are often pretty limited. So I was wondering, with your philosophy, I try to follow it in there, but sometimes the international fund options are pretty lousy, as you know. So I was wondering if it's okay within a 401k plan to maybe follow like a little bit less strict to the exact strategy, and maybe just use like a large cap, mid cap, and small cap funds, and kind of nix the international. But I was just wondering, just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
That's a very intelligent question by your customer. You've done a good job because you've taught them well to where they are looking at the track records, because of the 4 categories: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. The international category among those 4 underperforms the other 3 dramatically, including in my portfolio. So I'm really impressed that they actually figured that out. That means that that you did a good job teaching them to look at their long-term track records. So much so, Sam, that 2 years ago, I had my personal SmartVestor Pro that handles my mutual funds. He and I are always bouncing ideas about our advice back and forth, because there's nothing in the Bible about this. This is it's a Dave idea, okay? It's not something that can't be wrong. It could be wrong, and I'm looking at it going, these internationals suck. And I've got good ones. I got I got the highest performing, and they still are underperforming the others. And so I called my guy, and I'm like, hey, let's run some hypos. Let's run some hypotheticals. You know what that is, where you run but for the audience, right. That's where you go back 20 years, go back 25 years, and say, what if I had run just growth and income, aggressive growth, and did not have international? Even go back 50 years and do that, and run me some hypotheticals out on my 4 categories or the 3 categories without, and let's see if the diversification even makes sense, because over time the diversification should make you more money. You and I know that, right, Sam, right? And this category sucks so bad, I was just like, I think I may change my advice after all these years and pull it out. Well, we ran those hypotheticals out, and the weirdest thing happened. We made less money because in the inverse market, because and I couldn't figure out why at first, and he and I finally traced it down. What we figured out is the internationals run about inverse of the others. And so when the market swings up and is doing real good, like it is right now, the internationals are sucking wind, and that's when you notice them. When the market takes a dive down, the internationals hold or pick up, and that diversification then ends up making you more over the long haul as a concept. Okay, now that's a different part. That's an overarching thing on the Ramsey advice of the 4 mutual funds. So me and him came to the conclusion that probably a good idea to leave it in there, even though when I look at their returns, I just kind of want to puke a little, so it's just awful. But anyway, but back to your particular thing, anytime I'm inside of a 401k and any one of the 4 categories has only extremely weak, I don't know if I would leave it out, but I might not do fourth.
Right.
I might do 10%.
That was my question.
Yeah, maybe 10% in a weak sister, and then up the others to 33 or something, that kind of a thing. Or 30 it would be, I guess. But something like that. I like to have the flavor of that inverse relationship in there if I can get at it. An example of that would be when we're making TSP recommendations. We do not tell people to do fourth in the thrift savings plan. We tell them to, because honestly, those indexes that they put in that thing, most of them are just horrid. The C plan,
they're so bad.
Yeah, the C plan outperforms everything else so drastically in the TSP that we finally said, okay, we're going to do 80% C, 10 international, or 10I, which is their international, and 10S, which is their small cap. And so 80-10-10 is our TSP recommendation, and that's a similar question to what you're asking about a particular 401k. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I guess that was primarily my question because, like, within the accounts I manage, like, we can go through fund selection and find something that's, you know, pretty decent for international category, but it tends to be tougher when, you know, the options are limited within a 401k
Exactly.
or 403b or something like that. So
Exactly.
that makes total sense.
Yeah, that's more like the TSP in that situation, and I would just change the ratios somewhat. But again, you are obviously well versed in this stuff as an advisor, and the thing that people forget is the power of diversification. You know, having some money in different things is very important. So even if it's just a little, maybe we don't want quite as much Tabasco in there as we want other things, but we do need the spice in there, you know. And my mouth just watered. And
And Sam, I was gonna say exactly word for word what Dave just said. All that stuff about C funds. I was gonna do exactly that same that. And so, kudos to you, Dave. I'll let you take that one and just gotta run with it. And you're right on.
okay.
That's good.
Thanks,
That's
John.
good.
Thanks for covering for me there. I appreciate it. Let me talk.
That's good. You gotta get your voice back in this show a little bit.
Yeah. What's interesting, folks, is the Bible does say in Ecclesiastes, spread your portions to 7, yes to 8, for disaster may come upon the land. Now keep in mind, Ecclesiastes is not the positive thinking book of the Bible, okay? Pretty much everything in there is the world's coming to an end, you're going to die.
It's the choose reality book.
It's worse than that. It's the we're all going to die book. It's the zombie apocalypse is on the way, all the, you know, it's all this. So, but yeah, spread your portions to 7, yes to 8, for disaster may come upon the land. You know, Fauci may come upon the land. Spread your portions to 7, yes to 8. Some people might vote wrong. Spread your portions to 7, yes to 8. And that, in other words, diversification, not necessarily the 4 types of mutual funds I talk about, but not having all your money in one thing, your portions, 7, yes to 8, diversification is biblical.
And I think it's important, you said this, but to double click on it, when you have what I call a fail-safe or a stopgap, or we get a lot of grief for telling people to put an emergency fund in a high-yield savings account, just leave it alone. It's not to, it's to be there when you need it. I like the idea of there being what feels like a drag sometimes, but man, when the market goes south and this thing has proven over time to hold steady or to kind of buoy everything,
yeah,
I like it. That's discipline, right? I'm gonna keep doing the hard thing, even though I look at it and get frustrated. But over time, it proves itself out.
Well, when I was young and rash, I only wanted to invest in things that were going straight up.
That's right, but I see that on
old.
Instagram and TikTok that they do that too, and they're going to fall off a cliff, right?
Exactly, and so you would only buy an aggressive growth stock mutual fund, a small cap fund.
Because the world's just going to always be.
Yeah, it's always going to be high tech.
Yeah, you don't have that wisdom.
It's going to have the high tech in there. It's going to have all the startups in there. It's going to be exciting, but that's also the one that falls the fastest as soon as the market turns down.
That's right.
And then you'll be glad you got the boring growth and income, which is really seriously boring. It's awful. It never does anything. It just sits there. Oh God!
But you're
so glad you have it when the market turns down.
I was gonna say, you know what's is boring?
Being broke.
Diet, nutrition. Being a good person.
Mental health.
Was that the old
spiritual?
The worst part about being a Christian is that it's every single day. You can never wake up on the first day of the month and memorize all 5 books of.
You know what? This week I'm just going to raise hell.
Next week. The worst part about exercise is you just got to do it again tomorrow, and then again the next day. Then you look up over time and you have a healthy life, right?
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah,
it's worth it.
No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. This is the Ramsey Show.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This is Delony, and I'm always railing against social media, especially in the summer, because everyone uploads the highlight reels of their perfect bodies and perfect vacations and perfect kids. And I know they're not real, and I also know that I'm blessed beyond my wildest dreams, but I still find myself wishing my life was like other people's. And based on the data, I know this is happening to you too. Comparison is wired into us, but comparison can also become the thief of joy, because we can feel like we're not enough and begin acting and thinking in ways we would never think otherwise. When all gets to be too much, think about contacting BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy staffed with licensed therapists. It's convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Delony today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Delony.
Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, you have almost missed it, but not quite. We're going to be doing the Live Like No One Else cruise in March, and there is a handful of cabins left. If you still want to go, you can still get in. It is a totally Ramsey boat. Yep, the whole thing. Nobody on there but people doing our Live Like No One Else cruise. It's not a partial. The whole thing is us. It's all the Ramsey personalities all week long. Plus Manit Chauhan from the Food Channel. She's amazing. She's going to be doing some cooking demonstrations and things. We're going to have all kinds of events and seminars on the ship as we go around. We're going to Turks and Caicos, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a blast. Stephen Curtis Chapman, Dove Award winner, Grammy Award winner. Our friend will be there doing a concert for us. You're going to love this, and we'll be with you. I'll be on the boat all week long, or the ship. Sharon says, we're calling it a boat. Well, it's a very large boat. It's a ship, so there you go. Hey, you can secure your spot with a $600 deposit before all the cabins are gone at RamseySolutions.com/cruise. We have not done one of these. This is the first one we've ever done. We attempted to do one, and there was this little virus thing that kind of screwed it all up, and it ended up getting canceled because we didn't want to die on the high seas or something. So now we're doing this thing, and we're excited about it. March of next year, March 22nd through the 29th. John, this is going to be fun.
I tell you what, I can't wait. It's my first cruise.
You never been on a cruise?
Never been on a cruise. This is my first cruising experience.
Wow. Well, you're starting out on high cotton, because this is like Holland, America. This is not Walmart on the seas here.
I know.
This is big dog.
I'm a Walmart on the seas kind of guy, so I'm pretty excited about that.
This is good stuff here. You're living high. Good stuff. Hey, it's the Live Like No One Else cruise. By the way, that means you should be in baby step 4 or beyond. You're not supposed to be taking vacations if you're in 1, 2, and 3, getting out of debt and building your emergency fund. So we want you to come and celebrate with us if you've gotten out of debt, everything but the house, and you're working either 4, 5, 6, or you're at 7, something like that. You got a little money and everything's okay now. We got you away from the edge of the cliff. We're not trying to take money from broke people on a cruise. That'd be kind of backward, wouldn't it? So no, we want you to come. As a matter of fact, you can aim at it. We'll probably do another one someday, because this one's almost sold out. So
but here's a great idea. You're getting ready for school. It's back to school starts, all the drama. Imagine just sliding over your spouse like, hey, honey, in March, I got us taken care of. We're going on a cruise.
You probably should discuss it with her before you slide over there that we're doing it. But yeah,
way to go, fun ruiner.
Yeah, I know, I'm a fun ruiner. That's me. Don't make large decisions.
That's a guy that's made large decisions and got hit for it.
Yeah. Turns out my wife is not into surprises. Who knew? All right, RamseySolutions.com/cruise. That's how you do it. Anthony's with us. Anthony is in Omaha, Nebraska. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good. How's it going, guys? I'm a huge fan.
Well, thank you. How can we help today?
All right, so I'm a newer listener to the show, and I'm on baby step number 2. I got about $5,000 in credit card debt and a bed that we financed, and I also have a car payment that's $500 a month, and I owe about $25,000 on that 9% interest. So my question is, I live in Sioux City, Iowa, and I drive to Omaha every day for work. It's about an hour and 40-minute commute. I'm a journeyman plumber in Omaha, and my boss pays for my gas and maintenance on my vehicle. But I'm afraid that I'm going to drive it into the dirt before the loan's paid off. And the whole reason I started working there was because he told me he would get me a company vehicle and benefits and stuff like that, but it's been about a year and none of that has happened yet. So I'm wondering if I should switch and go back to Sioux City and work there, really close to my home, I could get a company vehicle and get rid of my car, pay off the remaining balance, but I would be making about $30 an hour instead of 40, so it'd be about a 30% deduction in pay. So my question is, I don't know how I should handle it, basically.
When you make $30 an hour, where does that take you in 5 years?
Definitely more than 30, and I don't know for sure that's what they'll pay me. I'm just lowballing it, but I would imagine it's going to be around there.
Why is it less? Same job, journeyman?
6.3 kilometers.
Yeah, same job. The demand for work is just higher in Omaha. There's not as much in Sioux City.
Okay.
They don't pay plumbers as much, but there are guys at the company that I'm talking with that do make upwards of 40 or more.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 31.
I would not make the decision on a singular piece of data, meaning your job. There's other parts to the data. There's your future. Where do you want to be in 10 years? There's where I want to live. Are you married?
No, engaged.
Okay. And where is her family?
Her family lives in Sioux City.
Okay. Well, pretty high likelihood you're going to be in Sioux City, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. That wouldn't be unusual anyway, I mean, unless you just decided to move. So if you wanted to, make more, you could go to even a bigger city than Omaha. You all leave Sioux City. What does she do?
She's a pharmacy tech.
Okay, so she can land anywhere. And you
Right.
could go to Kansas City, bigger than either one of those, and let's just pretend make 60. Okay? So it's 60,
Right.
40, or 30 based on the demand in the areas, because Kansas City's a boom town. I'm just making this up, okay? But in all of that, you're choosing to move away from her family and really what sounds like your hometown too.
Right.
So choice number one is, where do I want to live? Okay? Where do you want to live,
It doesn't really matter to me.
I know, but you're married to her. Do you guys want to leave there or not?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're going to live in Sioux City. All right. Then that helps me a bunch. Because I ain't driving an hour and 40 minutes for $10. No way.
Yeah.
Life sucks on the road that much. And yes, you're destroying a very expensive vehicle. This makes no sense at all. So yes,
Right.
you take the other job, but you don't even have the other job at 30. You probably walk in there and go, hey, I got a car promised over here at 40 and benefits promised over here at 40. If you guys will give me the same car and the same benefits he's promising me, you don't have to say you got them because you hadn't got them yet. But the other guy promised, I'm making 40 and he's promised me a car and benefits. If you guys will give me a car and benefits and 40, I'm here. You'll probably get higher.
Right.
And then the question you're asking me becomes a no-brainer. You don't even have to think about it. I'm not commuting an hour and 40 minutes to make the same money. No, right?
Right.
Well, go see what you can get. And then that answers your question.
Okay.
So what you're
Okay.
doing is you're giving me and John an actual versus a hypothetical. Because you don't have a solid second option yet. You need to turn your hypothetical into 3 different solid job offers, and then I think the decision will be instantaneous. John, that's kind of a faulty way of approaching decision making, right?
Yeah, I don't ever, like you said it best, I don't like ever making a decision based on a singular data point. And I also think it's worth, you're about to say I do, you're about to create something totally new with another person. I think it's worth asking that person, what do you envision our life like? And I can't imagine a spouse saying, well, I imagine you on the road for 2.5 hours of every single day. So you won't be around, so we can get married and I can just get your check. And so create a world where you can live where you want to live and make that thing happen. Unless you just can't live in that city, like being a book editor in Manhattan. I gotta move, it's too expensive, right?
Yeah.
But man, I think, Dave, I think you're a good journeyman. You can go to Sioux City, make it happen.
One of the questions I get all the time is, which life insurance company should I use for my term life policy? A valid question, since there are hundreds of companies out there with rates all over the place and riders and add-ons that are simply a waste of money. You need to get this done and make the right decision. That's why the only company I use and have recommended for over 25 years is Zander Insurance. Zander is a broker who shops the top term life companies for you and finds the best rates available from the only plans I recommend. They also save you time. Whether you want to work online, over the phone, or via text, their team will cater to your needs and help you make the right decision. This is an absolute necessity, and Zander has made the process easy and convenient. Call them at 800-356-4282 or visit Zander.com for instant online quotes. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. If you haven't listened to the Dr. John Delony Show on the Ramsey Networks, it is one of the top podcasts in the world right now, and talking about relationships and mental health issues. He's a PhD in counseling, so he's there to help you. Somebody told me this weekend you're the America's coolest shrink.
I accept that.
That's I'll go with that.
I accept that.
Rock and roll T-shirts, Led Zeppelin T-shirts on your shrink, right?
I had a woman say, you're the big brother I never had, and I thought, that's about right.
That's kind of nice. Yeah, I'm the uncle. And now I've become grandpa.
You're grandpa.
I'm the grandpa you never had. I was the friend, and then later, as I went along, I got to be the uncle, and now I'm the grandpa. But that's okay. All that's good. I'll take it. Stephen is in Austin, Texas. Hey, Stephen, what's up?
Hi, Dave and John. Hey, I have a question. My wife and I have $30,000 in Apple stock burning a hole in our pocket, and we have a tight structured lifestyle with 3 kids, and I would love advice on what to do with those shares.
Did you selling them?
Okay. Well, anytime someone has any kind of a non-retirement asset, like mutual funds or stock or anything like that, I'm always going to use that to further them on our 7 baby steps, because we have now proven data after decades of doing this that is the fastest right way to become wealthy. So, all that to say, do you all have any debt?
Yes, we owe $170 on our house. We have a $20,000 student loan, and then just a furniture loan of $2,200.
Okay. All right. Well, we teach folks the baby step 1 is to have $1,000 set aside, a little starter emergency fund. Then 2 is become debt-free, everything but your house. 3 is to build an emergency fund on top of that $1,000 that is 3 to 6 months of expenses. So I'm going to use any assets you've got that are not retirement, including the stock, to do that first and foremost. So I'm paying off your student loan and your furniture loan today when you sell that stock, and I'm going to use the rest of it to start building my emergency fund as fast as I possibly can. And now that I don't have those 2 payments, I should have a little more room in the budget to build that emergency fund quickly.
I see.
And here's how I know that also works. Do a little reverse engineering. Let's pretend you did not have a student loan, and someone came up and said, you can borrow $20,000 on a student loan and buy Apple stock with it. Would you do that? No.
No.
No, you would not do that. I would not let you do that. That would be silly, okay? And in essence, that's where you are. It isn't how you got here, but by not selling the stock and paying off the loan, it's as if you did that. Do you follow me?
Yes.
It's the same risk portfolio, same risk analysis, same mathematics involved in all of that. And so, yeah, clean it up, man, and work it all the way through. So you're new to all this Ramsey stuff. Let me send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover book. It's the one that's the baby steps on steroids. It'll show you every little nuanced question about walking those steps and why they work. And, we've sold 10 million of those at this point, so we know we've had 10 million people go through Financial Peace University also. So we know this process works, and that's no question that you can go that way.
And it's also, when you have stock like that, like just say Apple stock or Tesla, it's easy to say, I'm going to use this for something great, not to go back and pay for something I've already been a part of. But think of it this way, like Steve Jobs just put you through school. Let's just be happy about it and move. Like, let's come up with some way to frame it.
That's good.
If 20 years ago, if someone said, hey, Steve's going to give you 30 grand to go to college, I'll take that deal. So it's hard to pay for something you think you've already gone through, but you haven't paid for it yet. Let's just cash it out, pay for it, and let's move into the future.
Very good. Riley is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Riley.
Hi, how are you doing, Mr. Ramsey?
Great, brother. How can we help?
So I'm calling. I've been watching all your videos for a little while now, and I wanted some advice on an engagement ring for my girlfriend as far as price goes. I'm about to graduate UNC Charlotte this fall.
Congratulations. What's your degree in?
It's actually going to be in history. And the reason why is that was one of the closest things that I could get to finishing off. Usually it was going to be criminal justice, but my job doesn't care what my degree is in, and they'll still give me a 10% increase in my pay once I get through some of the training.
Cool. What are you going to do?
I'm going to be a Charlotte police officer.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
So the real question is, how much should you spend on this engagement ring?
Yeah.
Well, how much do you love
So right
her?
now I'm in.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You didn't go
very
there.
much so.
So, when will you be getting married?
So it would be next year, probably the end of next year.
Will you be a police officer by then?
Yes, I'd be through the academy, and they're paying me officer salary through the whole academy. So
Okay, and how much will you be making as an officer?
About $65,000 a year.
The
Right now, I'm in
jewelry
an
stores
internship.
will often tell you 3 months of pay. Our rule is 1 month of pay.
Okay.
$5,000
Okay.
or less. Okay. That's,
Okay.
How old are you?
Yes, sir. 23.
Okay, good. And then I'll throw in some unsolicited advice. Diamonds and furniture are the two things that are marked up the most that we buy in our 20s. High markup, big margin. So my point is, what you would pay for a 1 carat at a retail jewelry store, you can probably buy that diamond for half of that. Okay, by snooping around and finding a broker. Now, the danger in doing that is, and it can be dangerous at the retail store too, you're going to invest $5,000 in something, you're getting ready to learn a little bit about diamonds as you go along. Okay, and meaning you're going to learn about clarity, cut, you're going to learn about flaws, you're going to learn about these things because you want to know about it. If you're going to spend $5,000 on something, you should want to know about it. And I've bought quite a few. My wife has several things that sparkle in her life, and so but you know, and this is very tacky sounding, and you would really need to have someone with you that knows something about jewelry. If you happen to have a friend or a father's friend or something like that that is in the jewelry business, that would go with you. If you can find it at a pawn shop and it's a good stone, you probably can buy it and have it reset. You can probably buy it for 25 or 30 cents on the dollar. Like I bought a diamond for $12,000 that was easily a $50,000 diamond. Okay, just to give you an idea. And but I've been screwing around with it a little bit. I still wasn't completely comfortable with my level of knowledge to do that, so I had a buddy of mine come over and look at it with me. And I did know the guy that owned the pawn shop, and I trusted him. He was actually a friend and a good. He knows the stuff too. But I checked it 2 different ways, and I grasped what I was doing. So that can be kind of a little bit of a fun treasure hunt for you. So don't just walk into the people that are, oh, he got it at Jared's. No, thank you. No, he shouldn't get it at Jared's. You should never get it at Jared's. I'm sorry, Jared, but whoever Jared is, bless his little heart. But yeah, that's those people. That's going to be like buying furniture at the mall. Okay, you're going to pay full stinking price for it. No deals. You're in North Carolina. You know about furniture at deals, right? And so you run over to Hickory and it's 50 cents on the dollar, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So poke around, learn a little bit about it while you're doing that, and have some fun with it. And if she wants to pick out a certain type of thing, that's fine. You can find diamond brokers out there that will look for it. I wouldn't break my back on this, but I also wouldn't just walk in there like sheep being led to the slaughter thing, you know?
That happened to me, man.
You paid full time? I paid full time for the first one. First one was .23, baby.
Yes.
We're talking a spec.
Yes.
.23. You can't even see it.
That's what love looks like, baby.
That's what love looked like when I was 20. Had no money. That's all the love there was. $1,166 in 1982. I'm just saying. And I remember those $56 payments too. Wow. Unbelievable. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, George Campbell here.
Hey guys,
No matter what
thank you guys for the
platform you
comments.
use
Thank you
for
guys for the
news or
comments. If you guys like the live stream,
no, it is way too
give us a
hard to
thumbs
keep
up.
your feed getting jumped up.
I appreciate it.
I know I'm not the only one who's gone
Thank
searching
you for
for
the
the Ramsey
comments.
Show, only to find myself 2 paws and 12 videos deep in a kitten hole on YouTube, which is great, but not what I'm looking for right now. And heck, if you're tuning into this digitally, there's probably some weird, scammy, suggested content trying to play in the sidebar right now.
Cryptocurrency.
See what I mean? And that's why I love the Ramsey Network app. It is the best place for uninterrupted, easy access to the content that keeps you focused on your goals. It's all Ramsey, all the time, which means you don't have to worry about getting off track. With over 7,000 hours of Ramsey content, yep, you heard that right, 7,000. This is your one-stop, single destination for advice you can trust and nothing you can't. So do yourself a favor, get rid of the distractions and dial things in. All you gotta do is search Ramsey Network app in the App Store or click the link in the show notes to download the Ramsey Network app today.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Delony, PhD in counseling, Ramsey personality, host of the Dr. John Delony Show, one of the more popular Ramsey Network's shows out there, and of course, #1 best-selling author. He's my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So last week, we did something I've never done before. Well, to start with, we had the last grandbaby came on Sunday. So Daniel had Evelyn Grace, which is precious, and he has informed us that's his last one, and the girls have both informed us that's their last one. So we have 8. We'll top out at 8. And baby came at 11 in the afternoon. We flew to Washington, D.C. after holding Evelyn Grace and took our oldest grandson, 10, on his, apparently we do grandparents' 10-year trips with each kid now. And I just found this out. So we do this, and we had Washington, D.C. and touring everything, the Capitol, the White House, the Tomb of the Unknown, the Marines at the Iwo Jima statue doing the drum and bugle corps with the snap rifle hold routine, and he loved that. And if you don't come away, even in the middle of a political climate like we're in, if you don't come away from a visit from Washington, D.C. when you're 10 years old feeling very patriotic, something's wrong with your grandpa. So Grandpa made sure he saw and saluted and saw and understood. It was very fun. A very fun trip. And, you know, in the middle of all this rhetoric, and then I open up and I notice the post you put on Instagram of, okay, if you've decided who to vote for, quit watching this stuff. All it does is piss you off, okay? Because you're not going to, no one ever said, okay, I don't know. Would somebody help me?
Well, I haven't seen one single post where there's someone like trying to weigh the issues. It's somebody yelling at the other person, and I thought, I've never met a diehard Republican that's like, you know what, you're right, I'm out. Or vice versa, right?
Completely messed this whole thing up.
Yeah, so if you already know you're going to vote for it, just turn it off, man. Just turn it off.
So, CNBC prints this article, is the U.S. in a recession? Of course, we're in a political season, so the Republicans are saying that the Democrats have ruined the economy. That's part of running for office. About 3 in 5 Americans think so. By most measure, the U.S. economy is doing well, and yet many people would argue otherwise. Roughly 3 in 5 Americans believe that the U.S. is currently in a recession, according to a new survey of 2,000 adults by a firm. See, I don't understand. All this means is you people, some of you that got surveyed are freaking illiterate. Okay? Because a recession is not a feeling.
That needs to be your post of the day, Dave, which I know you spend lots of time contemplating.
There's an economics. If you take economics And if you're going to use words like recession, that's an economic term, you should understand the definition of the word is 2 consecutive quarters of the gross domestic product, which is the measure of all goods and services in the U.S., shrinking. If the economy recedes, shrinks, by the measure of the gross domestic product, 2 consecutive quarters, we are in a recession. If it didn't, we are not. It's a math thing. You don't, 1 plus 1, I'm not sure. I don't feel like it's 2. I'm not sure if it's 2. And my feelings matter.
I love the idea about the question.
My feelings matter.
Even the question.
The question is wrong.
What do you
believe we're in a recession? You dumb butt, don't you know what this is? That you either is or you isn't. It's a math thing.
Hi, this is John from the John Delony Show. Do you believe the sky is orange?
Yeah.
3 out of 5 Americans. They believe.
What do you believe? I don't give a crap what you believe. Some of you people's parents are cousins. I don't care what you believe. This thing, a recession is an economic term. You either is or you isn't there. It's a math measure. Now, you can say, do you believe the economy is doing well? You could say, do you think we're in a time of prosperity? Those are more subjective versus objective terms.
Are you feeling good about things? Yes.
Are you better? The famous Reagan line. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? You could say I am or I aren't, and then you have to answer the question that goes with that is, do you think Washington actually had anything to do with it? Which it usually didn't. If you're better off, it's not their fault. None of them. All of them together, put together, can't find a brain. Okay? They can't balance their budget. If you ran your household like they run that place, you'd be bankrupt. So please don't tell me they helped you. Unless you got a government contract, you're not prospering because of them. So now moving on from that, this thing, so if you're waiting on Biden or Kamala or Trump or Vance or whoever to fix your life already sucks. Because you got your eye on the wrong thing. Get you a mirror. That is your solution. So 3 in 5 Americans believe the U.S. economy is currently. I don't care what you believe. Are we actually in a shrinking economy or aren't we? Let me help you with this. The housing market, there's a shortage. Prices continue to go up. Up. So guess what part of the gross domestic product is? Housing. Up. It's growing, not shrinking. Up. Wrong way for recession. Let me help you with this. The stock market is up 15.3% since the beginning of the year. Now, I don't care if you think a Democrat did that or a Republican did that. In either case, you'd be wrong. But nevertheless, the American stock market is up. If you had $1 million in there at the beginning of January, you now have 1,150,000. It's up 15.3% as of today from the first of the year. Now, that's not a feeling.
Dave, my feelings are all that matter.
Yeah, this is the problem. According to a separate Guardian-Harris poll from May, 56% of respondents said they believe the U.S. is in a recession, although gross domestic product has been increasing for the past several years. Officially, the National Bureau of Economic Research defines a recession as a significant decline in economic activity that spread across the economy and lasts more than a few months. Well, that's even wrong. There's a technical definition. Freaking take econ. God, I got a degree in finance. They make us take economics.
Listen, we were talking about this before the show started, Dave. This idea that real facts don't matter. It's like, hey, gross domestic product has been going up. What do you feel like? I feel like we're in a recession. It's like, I know, but like I just told you the data. Like, yeah, I know, but my feelings are more important than the data. So I feel that's correct.
Yeah.
Madness.
And please don't hear me saying that Biden caused this. He's asleep. He didn't cause anything. Okay? He didn't cause anything. All they're doing is causing disruption and everything. And the same's true of the other side. So, I'm sorry, boys and girls. If you feel like things are bad, it might be bad at your house. And maybe there's some reason to do something about that.
Or all the TikTokers on your account might be having bad things going.
Maybe you should unplug the internet for a few days and see if your negativity wanes. Who knows? But let me help you with this. Affirm and CNBC. Recession's not a feeling. Why is this hard?
More than a feeling.
Wow. There's a little Boston sneak in there. Is that Boston? No, it wasn't even close.
That was Boston.
No, I mean, the song is Boston, but that wasn't close.
That was not close.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, George Campbell here. As a new dad, I see a lot of things in a new light. The cost of diapers, the value of sleep, and how crucial it is to have a will. Because if something happens to me, I don't want my family stressing about the details. And that's why I recommend making a will with Mama Bear Legal Forms. A will gives you peace of mind knowing things will be taken care of the way you want, instead of a random probate judge deciding who gets your fine china or precious moments collection.
Hey guys, thank you guys for the comments.
If you
Thank
think
you
you're
guys for
too
the
busy,
comments.
you don't have enough
If you
time,
guys like this
no
stream,
excuses
give
here.
me some
I
thumbs up.
completed my will in just 20 minutes with their easy online
Appreciate it.
process.
Give me some thumbs
Plus,
up.
if something comes up, you can make changes to your will for free for up to 6 months until you're completely satisfied. And listen, there's a lot of online will companies out there, but what's great about Mama Bear is that there's no membership, no subscription, no upselling. The price is the price. And if you love a good deal like me, go to mamabearlegalforms.com right now and save 20% with promo code Ramsey. That's mamabearlegalforms.com, promo code Ramsey.
Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is the Ramsey Show. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you being here. If you want to help us out, we can use the help. We really can. Follow the show on the format or the platform that you're listening or watching. Click subscribe or click follow. It really helps our numbers big time, and because it causes the show to be pushed forward with their algorithms, and other people who don't know about it hear about it. It's the best promotion we get. And also, you share the show. A lot of these apps and platforms have a share button or a share feature, and you can just send an episode to somebody and let them watch it or listen to it. I was listening to a podcast this week. A friend of mine was on Tucker Carlson. Said, "Hey man, listen to this." And I sent it to another friend of mine, just like that. And Tucker's got a great podcast that's going big. It's going Zoom right now, and so on. So listen to one of Joe Rogan's. It was going Zoom. It's really good. I sent it. Just share it. Just do, anytime you read a good book. Jack Carr's got a new book out. The guy, the Eternal List. I've read every one of his, and so yeah, I'm telling everybody go get the new one. It's good. It's very cool. So Falcons brought me a copy of Jack's new book. Have you seen it?
I saw that he signed it.
And he shot it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's got a bullet hole in it. That's fabulous. If you don't know Jack, he's a former SEAL, and so these are all
It's a good friend.
Navy SEAL books, and they're like shoot 'em up spy movie type stuff, and they're great books, fiction obviously, and but it has a bullet hole in it. It's amazing. I may want to do that with my next book.
I think that would be fantastic.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the book, which his does, but I still want to do it anyway. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Kathy's in Philadelphia. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello. I'm calling today with a question I hope you guys can help me with. My husband and I are considering putting in a solar array to offset our utility bill.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to bounce the numbers off of you and see if it was a smart move with where we're at currently.
Okay.
I don't want the cost.
So husband and I are between baby steps 5 and 6, I guess. We have a substantial amount of money in savings, but we haven't earmarked that specifically. This is child A, this is child B. There's their college fund.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty young yet, 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we've got some time to.
So you would pay cash for the
spend
solar?
More. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Pay
All right. How much is it?
For the solar. The unit's about $53,000.
Okay. And what is what's the break even on it?
They say they have it calculated out, and we looked at the numbers. About 8 years, we'd have it all back between the ITC and our state credits for Pennsylvania and SREC and those things.
Okay, that's borderline. I usually look for a 5 to 7 year break even, and most of the time that you see that you're going to get that, it's going to be in a area of the country that is a lot of sun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, a Phoenix, Arizona type of a thing, that kind of thing. You're not going to, it's a little different than Philly, not Seattle, that kind of stuff. So you just think about what you got. I don't know the technical parts. What I do know from the financial side is I've been doing this for 35 years. I've watched the solar panel efficiency as far as what's the break even, meaning what do you pay for it? How quickly can it convert the energy? How efficiently can it convert the energy? Thus, how fast it saves you money. I've watched the technology on that. It's probably 5 or 10 times better than it was 30 years ago. It's really come a long, long way. It used to just be total crap. And now it's like, I actually endorse solar companies in a couple of cities that we have talk radio on, and I'm fine to do that as long I don't endorse financing it, obviously. But generally I tell folks a 5 to a 7. Your 8 is borderline. What I might do is see if they're selling you some bells and whistles you could take off that would still get you down to the 40,000 range or so, and that might get you to a 6 or a 7 year break even. Maybe they got you, with a convertible and power windows. I don't know, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But check that out, learn about that. That's what I would do if I were in this situation. But
I'd run one more company too. Have one more company come over and give a bid and see what they're saying.
That's a good idea.
Well, we ran 2 companies, and we actually have gotten from 75,000 down to 52,000, 53,000 by pitting them against each other. So we feel like we're kind of. That's about where, I mean, I could bring in a third company, but I feel like at this point, if we've come down 25,000 almost.
That's a good start. That's a good start. Yeah, see, they got some margin in that crap, huh? That's cool. Okay, so I knew they were making bank, but I'm a fan of the technology. I'm not a fan of you're not doing this, but for the rest of you out there, that they really try to force a payment plan on you and go, look, your payment is less than the amount you're going to save on your electric bill. No, that's dumb butt stuff, because the things are attached to your house, and then you got a mess, you got a lien on your property, you got all kinds of mess. No, do not finance them ever. Do not finance anything ever. You're listening to Dave freaking Ramsey. Okay, so, but you're not doing that. But that's for everybody else. The technology has come a long, long way. I will tell you this, Kathy, I think it's going to go a long way further. So, like, if you sell your house in 7 years or 8 years, probably what's attached to your house is crap.
Okay.
It'd be like you had a 7-year-old computer or a 7-year-old cell phone. How much further it's come along. That's the rate, that's the pace of change in the technology. And so don't think this is going to enhance the sale of your house. It's probably cluttering the sale of your house a decade from today. That's why I want you to get a quick break even on it. Because it's just, what is a 7-year-old computer? A doorstop. That's what it is. It's like, what? It has to boot up? It's like,
where's the DOS disk?
What is this strange speech ball thing? It's like, so...
I even handed one of our audio guys an old iPod that I found and said, hey, I want to pull the music off of it because I don't let my son have a phone out in the wild. But I said, I want you to fill it with all country songs. And he looked at me like I had just handed him a box of fresh dog turds. He's
Antiques.
like, what is this? I don't know what to do with this thing.
Fresh dog turds.
Yeah, I probably could have used a better analogy on your radio show, Dave. But
our radio show.
Our radio show. Yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was strange. But hey, he took it back and figured it out, man.
Yeah, there you go. Well, because he's that guy. Alex is with us. Alex is in Tallahassee. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good. About yourself, Dave and John?
Good. How can we help?
Yeah, my wife and I have a little scenario. We currently have owned 7 properties. One of them is my partner, residence, and then 6 investments. 3 of the investment properties are paid off, and we've been discussing about maybe selling 2 properties, and selling 2 properties would pay off the remaining of the balance that I have on the 4 other properties that still have a mortgage on them.
You'd be 100% debt free.
Including my partner, yes, sir.
I would do that.
Right now. Today.
Yes.
Yeah, today. Okay.
I love real estate. I love real estate, Alex, but I like being debt free more.
I agree. And we were trying to hold on to the not-so properties and just add more to the portfolio just for our children in the future. But
you'll be able to do that because you won't have any payments.
I see.
Yeah, how much you can stack cash with no payments to be able to buy the next one debt free, and buy the next one debt free, and buy the next one debt free. That's what I started doing about 20 years ago, and I've got quite a large amount of real estate now.
Okay, can I ask one more quick question on the topic of real estate?
Yes, sir.
On the property, once they're all paid off, would you recommend I continue to keep the homeowner's insurance?
Yes.
Because I'm in Florida, and homeowner's insurance is through
Well,
the
it's
roof.
not homeowners, it's fire and EC. It's not technically homeowners. Homeowners is for owner-occupied only. With fire and EC, you got to run the analysis on it. I didn't think about you being in Florida. Ugh, it's super expensive. You're right. Just run an analysis on it and go, how much of this pain am I willing to absorb? What happened if they all got wiped off the face of the earth by a hurricane? What would you do? Wish you had insurance? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I run worst case scenario through my emotional filters and see if I end up crying or not. This is the Ramsey Show. Buying your first home is a big deal and sets the stage for your financial success. So, work with a mortgage advisor you trust, not just some random website. Churchill Mortgage is Ramsey trusted because they help you avoid hidden traps and expertly guide you through every step. Learn more at churchillmortgage.com.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100. Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Thanks for joining us, America. I'm Dave Ramsey. Dr. John Delony, Ramsey Personality, is our co-host. Today's question of the day comes from Amanda in Connecticut.
Amanda writes, my husband and I are in our late 30s, and the only debt we have is our mortgage, which will be paid off in the next year. I'd like to start planning for baby step 7 and where to invest our money when we get there. I listened to Breaking Free from Broke by George Campbell, and George mentioned that whole and universal life insurance are not wise forms of investing. I currently have 3 policies. One is a 10-year term, another is whole and universal, and one has a $70,000 cash value. I have a 401k that is about 70 grand in it, and I'm wondering what I should do with the life insurance policies. Should I keep them and keep paying the monthly premium, or cancel some or all of the policies and put that money towards different investments, or add the funds to my 401k?
You can't add the funds to your 401k. You don't have a method for doing that. 401k is only payroll deduct. So that's not an option. But George is right. Universal life, any kind of life insurance that has a savings program built into it is a bad deal. 100% of the time. Period. And all you got to do is run the numbers to figure that out. The average whole life or universal life sounds like this. If you bought a term life insurance policy for a 20-year level term and the premium was $5 a month, if you bought the exact amount of insurance with cash value, it would be $100 a month. It's 20 times more. What does the other $95 go to? Well, it's obviously not for insurance. You can buy the insurance for $5. So it has to be going towards this savings plan. So what does a whole life insurance policy look like? The first 3 years that you put 95 of your per $100 a month into the savings plan, you get nothing. The cash value in a cash value plan the first 3 years equals 0. You've obviously been doing it longer than that. You've got 70,000 in there. After that, you finally do start getting some return. The average whole life policy, according to much data that is out there in financial planning, not hard to find at all, 1.2% a year. So it doesn't even keep up with a savings account, much less a CD or a high yield savings account, much less a good investment. A good investment would be yielding you north of 10, like a good mutual fund. Okay, horrible rate of return. The first 3 years they keep all your money. The biggest problem with these policies is that you've paid an extra $95 per $100 per month for this, and if you died today, Amanda, the $70,000 that you have in cash value will not come to your heirs. They only pay the face amount of the policy. So let's say this was a $200,000 policy that you could have bought for $5. Instead, you're paying $100 for it to build up an extra $70. So now you have a savings account that the first 3 years you put money in the savings account, they keep it all. After that, they pay you 1.2%. And after that, when you die, they keep your money. No one would open a savings account like that. And yet millions of Americans have, called whole life insurance policies. The only people that still believe in this crap are the people that sell it. Everyone else in the financial world just kind of laughs and goes, that's the payday lender of the middle class right there, baby. They are screwing you to no end. So George is exactly right. It's crap, crap, crap. Now make sure you have the right amount of term insurance. If you need term insurance in place, you can go to xanderinsurance.com. We've been endorsing them for 20 plus years. They're personal friends of ours. They do a great job. Go over there, get you some term insurance in place, and then cancel this garbage. Because if you die before you get this canceled, they're going to keep your $70,000. That's bad. That's expensive insurance. So, and then take your 70 grand, pay it down on your house, get your house paid off as quick as you can.
So if you find yourself here, you can go withdraw that amount?
You can cancel the policy and they send you the check.
But if you die, they keep it?
Yep.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Well, you lose the insurance when you cancel.
Sure.
But whoop-de-doop-de.
Yeah.
The insurance costs you whatever you're paying for it per month, plus 70 grand. That's expensive insurance.
And by the way, they're paying you 1.2%. They're taking that and investing it, and they're keeping the...
Oh, let me tell you exactly what they're doing with it. Okay. The primary place you go if you have a commercial building to get a mortgage is from a life insurance company. You want to build an apartment complex with 500 units and it's $15 million, you go to XYZ insurance company and they loan the money out and it's 7-8%. They do commercial lending with it. It's their primary thing on real estate. So it's actually very secure.
So they're making the gap, or they're keeping the building.
Definitely making the gap. They're definitely making the gap. Yeah, that's why their buildings are so tall.
And your houses are so small.
Exactly. It's the payday lender of the middle class. Kimmy's with us. Kimmy is in New Orleans. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi, Dave and Josh. I truly appreciate you all taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
Thank you. So besides being Christians, my boyfriend and I really look up to you, Dave, and the lessons that you teach us financially. We've recently been talking about marriage being in the future up ahead and God leading us. And I'm a business owner of a caregiving service, and he actually works for the federal government. And I have this opportunity from one of my clients whose family members was one of our residents in our care. This client is a doctor, and she referred my company and my team and I to a hospital here locally. And she let me know, like, hey, look, I'm giving you a good review. Go there. I think your care should be in the hospital too. I think it's time for your team to scale up. And so she was like, you may have to put a bit of money towards a luncheon. She was like, but it's going to be great for your clientele list. And so
I'm sorry, why do we have to have a luncheon to do caregiving?
So that I can sit with 50 of the caseworkers and talk to them about it.
Okay, is that who makes the decision as to whether you get to be a caregiver?
No.
Who makes the decision?
Well, they make the decision as far as referring us to the patients there.
I know, but do they not have to have the permission of their hospital to do that?
No, it just comes through them. From what I've been told, they handle that part.
You mean like a nurse? What kind of caregiver?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So the nurses, independent of the hospital that they work for, decide who they're going to refer care to? Nuh-uh.
Okay.
No, they don't. I don't know anything about that world, but that sounds weird. I can't imagine.
Well, there were a couple of options that I was given.
I want to find out who the decision maker is.
Okay.
And I don't think your info's solid. So I want you to dig a little further. I might be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, Kimmy. Okay. Let's run down two scenarios. Let's pretend that the hospital administration determines who the nurses refer caregiving to, which would be logical to me.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Okay. In that case, you would spend a lunch buying them lunch, all three of them, which would be like nothing. Or just having a meeting with them and doing a presentation and getting permission and endorsement to allow you to then meet with them. Now, if they give you the go-ahead and say, okay, we will authorize you to, and authorize our nurses to refer to you, and you need to meet with all of them in order to build a relationship with them to get that referral going, versus the other two people they can send it to. Then I would spend the money on the luncheon with the nurses. Or option 2 is you find out Dave's wrong, which is highly possible here. I don't think so, but it's possible.
Highly. Just kidding.
But let's say I'm wrong, and the nurses actually do get to make the decision completely independent of their employer. Then yeah, I would have. It's a prospecting lunch. You know, you're like buying a booth at a nurses convention is what you're doing. You're going to spend $1,000 and go meet with those nurses. Yeah, I would buy them all lunch.
And I always do the quick math on how many of these need to convert.
Yeah.
Right. How many books do I need to sell to make this booth worth it? How many of these would I need to convert? And you're probably going to be. It's probably going to be not that many.
Yeah. I mean, if you make $1,000 on one customer and you buy 40 nurses lunch, all you got to do is get one.
That's it.
And you're okay. But if you make $10 a customer, that might not be as good. It's way too easy to put off.
Hey guys, thank you guys for all the comments. So I'm gonna end the stream. I reached my destination. So thank you guys for the views and the likes, and thank you guys for all the comments. I'm gonna see if I can come back in and answer some of the comments later on when I post the stream. So if you guys like this kind of content, turn on the notification so when I go live like this, you guys will get notified. All right, have an awesome day, all guys.